Hello and welcome to the podcast. In this episode, well, it's about leadership. I want to talk about some people who are getting spectacularly upset about the Trump victory. And I mean spectacularly. And I wonder what is going on. I also want to point out one of the reasons why Kamala Harris lost. It's to do with the language she's using. Not bad, actually, in this instance. And yet, still, she failed. So why was that? Additionally, I would like to highlight someone who I believe could have won against Trump had the Democrats not been doing whatever the heck it was they were doing behind the scenes. So first of all, let's look at this montage of some people having what could only be described as a bit of a meltdown after the Trump victory.
What is wrong with you? I can't do this anymore. I'm literally sick. I'm literally sick to my stomach. What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom? I'm done. This is a message to anyone who follows me. If you voted for Trump, unfollow me and block me. If you didn't vote, unfollow me and block me.
What the hell? You cannot be serious. How did I wake up to this garbage as my president? That's right, garbage. I went to bed last night and she was ahead. I woke up to this freaking nightmare.
This is all prank, right? Like we're just gonna wake up tomorrow morning and everything's gonna go back to the way it'll be a psych. It'll be like a really bad dream and none of this will have ever happened, right? Like it'll be like the first time and then we're all gonna pull through fine in 4 years. Correct? Please? Someone tell me? I can tell you one thing right now, marriage is the farthest thing from on the table currently. So they screwed the pooch on that one.
Guys, we literally don't even have to panic. We literally don't even have to freak out right now. We don't even have to we don't have to freak out. We don't have to freak out because it's not even real. Because recount the vote.
Just woke up this morning feeling spicy. You guys feel spicy? Because I do. All right. I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see what happens. Is this cutting off hair? I'm gonna have to cut it shorter than that. Press it down, right? I think that this is too... it's getting hair. Let's see here. Maybe I gotta cut it. Here we go. Have I given up on America? Yeah. I've also given up on coloring this hair because, right? Coloring my hair. Having my hair be long and luxurious.
I understand why a lot of people will be upset, but I have to say, in terms of this sort of stuff, I do wonder whether it does any good whatsoever. I also wonder what's actually behind some of it, not all of it. You see, some of the people who are doing that, I strongly suspect, are doing it as a performance. It's performative art in many ways. You might be saying, no, they're obviously really upset. Yes, some of them are, but some of them are also, to a degree, doing this as some kind of weird public display. It's like a social media version of gurning. Think about it. They had to record this, so they had to position the camera. This is whilst being incredibly upset. And then maybe test record it, or do another take if it didn't work properly, ensure that they weren't going to swipe the camera by wildly gesticulating or shaking too much, and maybe also they used a tripod. Once that was done, quite a few of them, not all, have obviously edited the video to make sure that it was the most dramatic, emotional parts that were stitched together in fairly rapid succession to give the maximum impact, and then, of course, they uploaded it. And what I'm saying is that if they were that distraught, would they really be able to pause and consider how to do all those things? I know it's not especially complicated, but still, maybe they're just able to turn that on when they want. Obviously they are, which is what I mean. There's some kind of performance thing going on there. It's important to understand that, yes, things in life can be terribly upsetting. And yes, sometimes we do want to howl at the moon. And I wouldn't deny that I had ever done that. But I'm not sure that I would publicise it. But of course, if you publicise it, then you'll get other people saying, yeah, it is terrible. So you get that feedback and it makes you feel better. But it is then quickly about saying, okay, what went wrong? How can we do something differently next time? And I would say that in many ways, I'm not surprised that there is this very strong emotional reaction. The campaign was run on emotion. And what I mean by that, it was being run essentially to try and get people into an emotional state, but with no substance. And I've mentioned this before. I've also said that if you look at what Trump was saying and what J.D. Vance was saying and other people, they had an opinion. They did articulate it. Some people, quite a few people, would disagree, but at least they had that opinion. What we tend to get from Kamala and that campaign was woolly, it lacked substance, and it lacked clout, because there was no substance a lot of the time. I'm going to play you a clip from I think it was called the Town Hall with Oprah Winfrey. And before I do that, I would like to point out that I watched all of it. And Kamala Harris did not actually do a bad job. But I think at that point, things had slipped away from her and her campaign, although she and they didn't actually realise that then. And the reason it had slipped away is because of that lack of substance. It's not about bashing the individual. It's more about saying, here's a sample of some of the language, the type of language, the type of approach that she and her campaign took.
Let's come together with the character that we are so proud of about who we are, which is we are an optimistic people. We are an optimistic people. Americans, by character, are people who have dreams and ambitions and aspirations. We believe in what is possible. We believe in what can be. And we believe in fighting for that. That's how we came into being.
So that's not bad, is it? It can be quite stirring. It can be quite inspirational. But the problem is when that's all you have, then people begin to flounder. And what she's using is typical language. It's a use of language that is very much deliberately vague, that you fill in the blanks. You imagine what that means. So, for example, she said, and I'm reading out some quotes here, we're an optimistic people. Yeah, you're right. So we also get not only imagining what that might mean, but we get a compliment, we get buy-in. Yeah, we are. This feels good, doesn't it? We have dreams. Yeah, you're right. Wow, we are special. Cats have dreams. We have ambitions. Yes, we do. We have aspirations. We believe in what is possible. Did she actually say that? In what is possible? I think she did. So, yes, that's almost like a truism, isn't it? We believe in what is possible. Oh, and yeah, another quote. We believe in what we can be. But if you look at those words, who doesn't want to belong to something that is aspirational, where we dream, we have ambitions, and believing in what is possible, what can be. But that type of language, as I've suggested before, on its own leaves people ultimately bewildered, particularly when the other camp is saying, oh, by the way, We heard you about the economy, we heard you about security, safety, the border, and here's what we plan to do. And if you stack that against, we are, let me get this right, an optimistic people. Love it. But on its own, by that point, especially in the campaign, people were beginning to go, what is going on? And then look at Oprah here.
Seems to us that something happened to you the moment President Biden, stepped aside and withdrew his candidacy, that a veil or something dropped and you just stepped into your power? I mean, literally, looking at you at a speech like the week before, which was a great speech, very nice, and then the next week I saw you walking in the thing, and I said, what happened to you?
You know, we each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up.
Time to step up.
Time to step up, you know?
And Oprah is a highly intelligent, successful woman. And she knows how to work a crowd. But that's what you see there. It's all, once more, whip up the emotions. But ultimately, I think that backfired. It backfired because it was empty. That's all it was. Like, you know, you get the dessert, and if you're into that type of thing, and it's quite sweet, but if you have too much of it, you don't feel great. There's not enough there for you. You can't exist on that. It's not good for you, ultimately. And to conclude, let me play you a clip of someone who I think, if the Democrats had done what they should have done, because goodness knows what was going on behind the scenes with Barack and Michelle and the current president, Joe Biden. Remember him? Here's someone who I think would have won.
I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
So in conclusion, I think the campaign was too woolly. I think it was based too much on emotions. It's not that other politicians don't use that type of thing, including Trump. And I think that Kamala was not prepared enough or prepared by the wrong people. I think that she was probably the wrong candidate as well. I think Tulsi Gabbard would have done an amazing job, and something was going on behind the scenes. To finish off, just to add to my slight confusion and almost conspiratorial gear flicking in and starting to rotate, have a listen to Joe Biden here.
Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort, and she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. You know, the struggle for the soul of America, since our very founding, has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree.
I mean, this is recently. Does this sound like the same person who debated Trump? What on earth is going on? Thanks very much for watching. If you've watched this far, please consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, thank you so very much. It makes a huge difference. I really appreciate it. For the moment, from me, bye for now.